in this brief time, I'm going to cover three things. In that, first of all, is where we serve, why we serve, and how. Very simple. First off, when arriving in Peru, the first thing that struck me was just the conservative way that they dress there. And that just kind of is what it is. But in some ways, it can highlight that they're possibly insulated, dare I say, relative to what we might experience in the USA. And driving around town, talking literally leaving the gates of the airport, the faith becomes very visible to personally. The first time I traveled there, it was very visible, but anyone can see. I mean, the first roundabout, there is, for example, a statue of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And the next morning we fly to Piura, the region that we serve in, and just driving from the airport in the middle of the city, you see a statue of Jesus. And so it's very apparent the importance of faith and visible in a powerful way. And over the course of the time there, more than anything, the pace of life is so impactful and apparent in just the demeanor on one hand of the people there, but when I'm interacting and during the mission trip, the people come in contact with our missionaries. They're obviously aware, and it's apparent that they have a respect and know that the missionaries are there, but at the same time, there is nothing excitable about it to them. And over the course of that time, that begins to sink in a little bit, and we just see this amazing region that we serve in. And so last summer, as I was preparing to go on mission for the second time, I was standing at church, and we were outside right after Mass, and I was telling them about all these clean water projects that we were going to do, and we were going to go out to these communities and distribute packets with personal sanitation hygiene products, and talk about theology of the body and how clean water is tied in with that and all these things. And he was just standing there intently listening and respectfully, and was like, He's like, and give them a little Jesus too. And I was like, it kind of took me back, gave me some pause, but point taken, that the why is a spiritual mission as well. And Peru is so unique in its faith heritage, but I think Lima even had the most living saints at one time, for example, or I've heard it called the Jerusalem of the New World, or on. And there's so many superlatives in that way that you could describe Peru. But Saint Martin de Porres was one in particular that I think is just, apart from Christ himself, the ultimate example of humility and the way that he lived his life. And Jacob tells me this often, or reminds me of it frequently as well, but the certain level of bureaucracy that probably nowhere is immune to in some ways can be a hindrance, but it's a reminder that if we are not fighting for these people, then no one will, right? And so that reminder exactly is always necessary in that sense, and why we're doing what we're doing. Personally, I've been helping with Vera Aqua Vera Vita for close to the founding, and started out kind of tipped my toe in the water, no pun intended, but was helping financially or as a prayer warrior. And Jacob kind of just helped me, so to speak, along that, honestly, in almost a mentor kind of way. But Matthew chapter 20 and the workers in the vineyard is a passage from the gospel that just sticks with me. And basically I came to realize that the Lord was telling me, you two go into my vineyard, do a little bit more, go on mission, and go to Peru and serve in that way. And ultimately just bringing that gift of clean water to the people to go from simply surviving to thriving. And there are two ways I kind of look at the encounter that we have in Peru. The first being the person to person just connection that you make. We were at a boarding school, or honestly an orphanage in Peru, and one of the young ladies was so gracious, and we were kind of negotiating over this item, and she ended up just giving it to me. And I remember seeing her face like as we were driving away, and it was such a special gift in that way. And also a reminder that no matter how much that we give, that God himself is always giving more abundantly than we can imagine, and just unlocking that charity, right? Jacob and I will have a conversation from time to time, and he's being very gracious and saying thank you, and you're very generous and this and that. And I truly believe that he is unlocking that in myself, and that I personally would not be charitable in that way. So thank you all for being here tonight, and I hope that the evening is very blessed for each and every one of you, and let's bring the gift of clean water and clean life. True water, true life. Thank you.